What's a lower thirds and why do I need it? That's a question that I'm going to answer today on my YouTube channel. When you ask a question like, how long should my video be? Most experts will tell you the shorter the better. And most of the time, I agree. So when you're trying to make your videos shorter, introducing yourself is just a time waster. That's why I use lower thirds. Lower thirds is the text that pops up on the screen when somebody's talking to tell you what their name is, who they are, where they're from, what company they work for, what their title is, their social security number. It's really an invasion of privacy. Just kidding. It's really just their name and title. When you eliminate the, hey, my name is Paige Wilhide with Paige Media, you can get so much done in that period of time if you just start talking about your topic and then run a lower thirds across the screen. The reason it's called lower thirds is because it's generally in the bottom third of the screen. But hashtag is my upper thirds right now. She likes to go up to the upper thirds of the screen. Sometimes it can be in different places. Today I'm going to show you how to make a couple really easy lower thirds in Adobe Premiere Pro. Right here we start with, this is Mary. She's my editor at Paige Media, and she's got a very simple background. It's all monochromatic. It's a gray background that's lit very well, and we're going to put a lower thirds on there. And when I say lower thirds, I put it in quotes because this one we're going to be putting up here in the corner right by her head. So to start out, you click on Title, New Title, Default Still. And we are going to name this Lower Thirds Mary. Put that right in there. Now the title editor pops up. This is, if you've ever used some kind of text editor, this is very similar to that. It's got a lot of the same tools. The alignment is right here. You're going to be able to adjust all kinds of things. So right now, make sure your type tool is highlighted, and then you can click anywhere on your screen and type in the text. No comma there. All right. All the same size. You can then click it and move it around wherever you want. She can go over here. She can go over here. I'm going to keep it over here. Give her, because there's more space, it seems, over to the right side. You can see this is the center. So her head kind of goes over this way, more space on the right side. I'm going to align it on the right, and I'm going to take the bottom. All right, let's highlight this. Come on, guys. Highlight. Oh, there we go. Highlight the bottom of it, and we're going to bring the size down a little bit. You see where I'm adjusting the size right here. All right. And I'm going to change the text to something sans serif. All right, this is good. We're going to, when you adjust the size like this, make sure you hold the shift button down, and that'll keep it in nice proportions. And then right here we're going to adjust the line, the leading, so it's not as scrunched together. You've got some space up here. Use the negative space when you do lower thirds. And there you go. Very simple lower thirds. What we're going to do to this, just to add a little bit of pop, is to use a shadow. So right over here on the right side, you have all of these properties you can use to enhance your text. So we're going to click shadow right there, and you see it just adds a little bit of shadow on, pops out of the screen, makes it look a little bit more three-dimensional. And you can adjust the opacity, the angle, the distance. I like to move the distance down a little bit, so let's do 5 for the distance. So it's very subtle, maybe a lower spread. All right, and then we've got a nice lower thirds right there. Now, in order to apply it, you're going to X out of this, and it doesn't automatically go on the screen, as you can tell. So we're going to find it right here. It's usually highlighted in our project file. We're going to drag it right here. And there you go. You've got your lower thirds. Now, you can see the transition is kind of weird, right? It's just kind of like, whoa, it's a little jarring. So in order to make the transition a little more seamless, we're going to add video transitions. We go into our video transitions. This is down here in the bottom left box, the project box, and you're going to click on effects. In here, video transitions. I like to do a nice cross dissolve, super simple, and watch that come up. Nice. And then you want it to come out the same way it came in, just as subtly. There you go. All right. Now there's a couple other transitions we're going to go into, but I'm going to do that on the next one. So let's look at Lisa. We're going to add a lower thirds to Lisa. Now the background is a little bit busier here. There's not as much negative space where we can add a transition like there was for Mary. So let's take a look at this. We might be able to put something right here. We could also maybe put something over here. Generally, you want the lower thirds to be on the side where there's less of the person. So if the person's more over to the left side, you want the lower thirds to be on the right side. That's just a general rule of thumb. So we're going to go in, same thing we did before, title, new title, default still. And we're going to name this lower thirds Lisa. All right, same thing pops up. Make sure your type tool is highlighted. We're going to type her name, fitness coach. All right. So it's always this default text, right? Now, what I like to do is follow the lines of your video. So what you can do is tilt this a little bit, and it looks like it just kind of pops up on that cushion right there, right? You can see, let's click out of that. Kind of pops up right there. Now the text isn't really great for this. What I'm going to do is highlight this. I'm going to go down to some of these presets and try out a couple of these presets. That one looks nice. It pops with the shadow a little bit. Some of these are a little bit cheesy. You don't really want to mess around too much with these, or if you do, kind of adjust them so that they're not jarring, because that's a little crazy. But I kind of like this one. So Lisa Seifert, and we're going to make fitness coach smaller. Always make the title a little bit smaller because the name is the most important. We're going to adjust the leading again on here. So you move this around to find a place for it. We're going to right align it as well because it's on the right side. Now another thing we can do, you can move it up into the green right here. And you see that looks nice. That looks a little bit more professional if you move it up here into the green. Now, if you want it to pop even more, you can change the color of the text. So let me move this away. Let me show you how I did that one more time. Over here in the title properties, under fill, you click the color, and now you have your color picker on. So you can pick any color you want to dark. But what we can do is we can change the shadow. So it's really a lot of just like playing around with it. We're going to change the shadow to something a lot lighter, like a white shadow. All right, and that makes it pop a little bit more. I'm going to do a nice thick opacity, spread it a little more, bigger size, so it really pops on that green. I'm going to even take this like that, like a pink, because that is her brand color. Let's give the text a little bit of a line to make it pop just a little bit more. There you go. Outer strokes, we just clicked that. Solid white line, you can make it smaller or thicker, however you want to do it, but that looks really good. I like the look of that. Now, I'm going to go back to here. We X'd out of there. If you X out of your title screen, never fear, because it automatically saves it. So we've got our lower third Lisa right here. We're just going to pop that onto our timeline. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of an advanced property with this. So you're going to highlight your title. We're going to go over here to Effect Controls in the top left corner. And you can see there's an option for motion. Scale. Right now, your title is at 100% scale. So that is, it's full size. That's the size that you made it. We are actually going to set our scale right here. And by setting it, I mean you click this and it creates a keyframe right at the very beginning where your marker is. So there's a keyframe. You set the size of it. I'm going to set it all the way down to 0. Okay? Now, we're going to move to the end of the keyframe, end of your title, and we're going to set another one, and we're going to get it all the way up to where it was before, 100. All right? So now when we play this, it's going to go from keyframe to keyframe. Comes out right there. Now, we want it a little bit faster. Okay? So we move the keyframes closer together to make it faster. And we want to move it over a little bit more, right? Because coming from like the middle of her mouth, that's just kind of weird. So in the position, we're going to set the position, and we're going to, let's move it over here. Let's scale this up a little just so we can see. So the position we want to move over a little bit, like that. And then the final position, set the keyframe, and you can move this over. This is going to be the final position right there. So now, move this back down. Now this is kind of an advanced technique with the motion, and you just got to play around with the keyframes. But you're basically saying, hey, computer, I want you to start the animation here. So it's going to be at this place and this size, and then I want you to end it here. Cool? There you go. So it pops up. Now, I will show you one more. So that's a motion transition. This is kind of a custom thing that you can create. And just for the end of it, so it's not, doesn't just pop out of there and we're all like, where did it go? We're going to have a cross dissolve right to the end like we did before for Mary's. So one more time, let's watch this. There you go, perfect. Now we're going to move on to Andrea Moss. And this is very colorful. It's a busy video. There's a lot going on. There's a busy background, there's flowers, her clothing is bright. So we're going to keep it pretty simple, but we also sort of need to create our own background because there's nowhere, like we could do it here, but like I said before, the side of the screen that the person is on, you want the text to be on the other side. So we want the text to be on this side of the screen, but there's really not much space for it to go. So we're going to create our own space for it to go. So we're going to start title, new title, default still, lower thirds, Andrea. Now to start off with this one, we're going to start with the box tool over here on the left side. And we're going to create a white box that goes all the way across. Now, within that box, we want it to fade from white, like a translucent white, all the way to clear. Have you ever seen those lower thirds where it goes from one, like a color all the way and it's sort of clear, it kind of fades out? That's what we want to do, and we're going to create a background where we can put her title and her name right there. So in order to do that, we've got this selected, and under fill, we want a linear gradient. And that means that it's going to go from one color to another. Now you can select these two colors and it'll give you more information about them. Right now they're both the same exact color. Oops, they're both white. So we're going to keep this white, but we're going to change the opacity. We're going to move that all the way down to 0. So it's going to be completely clear at the end, completely transparent. And then this color we're going to, so see we selected that one. This color we're going to bring it down a little bit as well. Let's say 60% opacity. So it's faded, but it's still, you can still see a little bit of the white in there. Now we're going to change the angle of this because we actually want it to come from this side and not up to down. We want it to go from right to left. So That's where the angle comes in. We want a 90-degree angle, so it's straight up and down. Great. Now you've kind of created your own background where you can write any kind of text you want. So we're going to go into the type tool just like before. We're going to put her name. She's the founder, Moss Wellness. All right. Now it kind of comes out in that weird linear gradient, so we're going to change this to, we want that to be a solid color, and we want the color to be a darker color. I mean, you could do some kind of shaded, and we're going to align it right yet again. Again, highlight this small one, bring down the size a little bit. We're going to actually bring these a little bit closer together. And then move it so it feels like it's kind of centered right on there. Cool. What we're going to do, we're going to add a little bit of shadow on here just to give it a pop like we did with Mary's. Spread, distance, size, a little darker. Let's change this color. I do not like this color. Let's change it to like a green, right? Dark green. There you go. Like the color of moss. Now we're going to change this color to like a deeper green. And make this 5. Great. Now X out of there. Go back over here to this tab, Project. This is Paige Media Marketing, is the project that I'm doing. So we're going to put the lower thirds, Andrea, right here. Now, look how nice that looks. It's kind of like a little name tag that comes up. It makes it look really professional and clean, but without cluttering the video too much. Now, for the fade in, or the transition for this, rather than a dissolve, I like to do either a wipe or a slide. So we're going to do a wipe tool right here. Now you see that the wipe comes in from the left to the right, and we don't want that. We want it to come in from the right to the left because that creates that sense of balance. So we're going to click on the transition, and up here in Effect Controls, this screen pops up. And you can basically control which way the transition comes in. We want it to come east to west, so we just click that little triangle, and there you go. So wipe in, and you can either cross fade out, or because it is a little flag name tag, you can just wipe it back out. So there you go. That is another example. So there you go. We've got 3 really easy lower thirds that you can create in Premiere Pro. Very simple and quick. So how was that? I hope you got some good information about lower thirds and how to create them on your own in a super simple way. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and subscribe. Ooh, I'm gonna do that more often. Thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Right? Right, girl? Anyway, bye.